All right, and we are back to the BC report.
Yeah, BC
the
report.
BC report, not the Boston College report. Tonight. So we just talked about the East Conference from the first round. We broke down the playoff series and who we both feel would eventually win the East round. And now we're moving it over to the West. I don't know if you stay up late a lot to watch some of the Western Conference games.
You know,
sorry, mom and dad, but I do every once in a while. I do watch some Western Conference
on a school night.
Well, I mean, they are on NBC Sports a lot, so I mean, sometimes they have
on a school night. You're staying up late, Kevin.
Well, when there's not a good movie on at 10:30, and then you watch the Western Conference hockey game.
Okay,
so.
all right.
You watch the Western Conference hockey game at 10:30. So.
Hey, listen, I love hockey no matter who's playing. Obviously, Rangers, big thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very excited. I am going to Game 1.
You are.
I am going to Game 1.
You got tickets?
I am flipping out.
That is
how
awesome.
Excited I am. I always wanted to go to a rivalry. I always wanted to go to Rangers Philadelphia, and I'm going to the Garden to see Rangers versus Flyers in a Game 1, Round 1 playoff game.
On Thursday night. I'm jealous.
Holy Thursday.
I've been to 2 Rangers Flyers games. I have been to a regular season game where you might remember Ryan Callahan scored 4 goals.
Okay.
He scored 4 goals.
I think I remember that, yeah.
And I was at the Winter Classic.
Oh.
So they were both they were both great experiences.
I was supposed to go to the Ranger Islander one, but it was supposed to be negative 10 degrees, so I kind of opted out with that one.
I'll tell you right now, Pete, the Winter Classic was the best sporting event I've ever been to.
I would love to.
The atmosphere was unreal.
And just to give a compliment to whoever designed the Rangers jerseys, wow.
For the Stadium Series.
Stadium Series? Beautiful.
You liked them.
I loved them.
I thought that they were very chromy, and I liked the chrome part of it.
That was the whole NHL thing. For the Stadium Series, it was like a chrome metal thing. I actually have a sweatshirt.
If I was actually going with my favorites, I'd actually, believe it or not, I thought the Devils were my favorite ones.
I'm not gonna lie. I think going back to the classic red and green was actually a really nice pick.
I like the Devils.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm in love with the new Winter Classic jerseys. Stadium Series jerseys.
They were good jerseys. I mean, I thought they could have been a little Columbus Blue Jackety maybe, but I like how I like how they threw. I like how they did the Yankee, like they kind of did like a Yankee touch on it. So Yankee Stadium,
especially Lundqvist's pads.
Exactly, especially
his mask was amazing too. He had like an image of Babe Ruth on it.
Joe DiMaggio, it
was a great tribute.
It was great. So, all
right, we digress.
Anyway, on to the Western Conference now. Some surprise. I'll be honest. The top 2 seeds, I'm a little surprised to see them there. Is the Anaheim Ducks are the top seed, and the Colorado Avalanche are the number 2 seed. And before you say something, I just want to if Patrick Waugh does not win Coach of the Year, there's got to be an investigation. Patrick Waugh has done unreal things.
I have to give a shout out to him. He just wow.
I mean, and from the first game too.
How can you dislike Patrick Waugh?
Oh, he's nuts. But I mean, remember the first.
But how can you dislike? You can't. You have to love him. He's just.
Well, I like him because I'm a Rangers fan. I'm not really Brodor's biggest. I'm not really that much of a fan of Brodor.
I don't even think it matters at that point. He's just, I believe, just a great coach.
Yeah, I mean, he's coached before. He coached juniors and everything. So this is not new to him at all.
This isn't his first rodeo.
And what's funny is the Colorado Avalanche are building their team basically off of former legends. Joe Sakic is running the show.
Yeah.
Joe Sakic is running. This is his team that he's built.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want Waugh as my coach.
Yeah, there you go.
So, see, people in Colorado loved it. Some people around the league were shaking his head like he only knew coaching juniors, but it looks like Sakic knew what he was doing.
Oh, 100%. And, to talk about players today, I would keep my eye on Landeskog and O'Reilly.
You would. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly, 2 penalty minutes all year. 2. All right, and I guess
2 penalties, and he leads the team in goals, so 28 goals, with a 13.9 shot percentage with only 201 shots. If he shoots more, that percentage, I think, is going to go up.
So we will start off, I guess, with the Colorado-Minnesota series.
Let's go
Colorado-Minnesota. This Colorado team is so young. See, I play NHL 14, and I was the number one overall pick, so I was basically...
Oh, excuse me.
I was their version of Nathan McKinnon, so... But
excuse me.
These guys have so much young talent.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's... I mean, I watched when they played the Rangers a couple of weeks ago, and the Rangers lost. It was inevitable that they were going to tie that game.
Yep.
These guys have such young...
It's a great game.
It was a great game. I mean, it was the Rangers were gassed, but these guys, they are talented, though. Matt Duchene, Gabriel Landeskog, Ryan O'Reilly, Nathan McKinnon,
And I think one of the biggest stars, Varlamov, with 41 wins.
Varlamov was unbelievable this year, and he was Washington's future goalie, and they just traded him.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we don't know what to... They just gave him to Colorado.
They're probably kicking themselves right now.
I mean, Braden Holtby looked like for a while he would have been the answer, but now, I mean, he struggled. So they are kicking themselves now. I think they should be kicking themselves right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing about the penalty minutes, 2 for Ryan O'Reilly.
2, and 2. He got it on I accidentally broke someone's stick. He was
What did he get for slashing?
He was slashing. He was trying to hit the puck, but he hit the guy's stick.
Broke the stick and he got slashing.
Broke. I mean, that's the only penalty he got all year.
And you know what? That's a smart player, and that's why I would watch out for him. I would watch out for Landeskog too, because I just think as a team player, he's there.
Youngest captain in NHL history.
Right. What was it? 18?
19.
19 was captain. Didn't Crosby?
No, Taves actually beat Crosby. Took over for Crosby's record, actually.
Really?
Jonathan Taves beat that record, and Landeskog just beat it. He got in his second year. He was named captain of the team.
Got it.
I agree with you on the Landeskog being a total team guy.
You got to watch him.
Matt Duchene, though, I think is the best player in the league that nobody talks about.
Matt Duchene is amazing. 47 assists with 70 points.
And he played only 7. He missed 11 games too.
He missed 11 games. He only has 19 penalty minutes. You know, as a center, in 71 games, that is not bad at all.
Nobody talks about him.
No, there's a lot of players on these teams that no one talks about, and I feel like Duchene is definitely one of the people that need to be talked about.
I mean,
I think ESPN #1 should be doing more hockey in general, but I think Matt Duchene should be one of the top people that they're talking about.
Absolutely. He is. I think he is the best player on the Colorado Avalanche. I think that if you are the Minnesota Wild, you need to put Ryan Sutter on him.
No,
you put Ryan Sutter on him.
Yeah.
Sutter or Sutter.
I'm telling you, I can't do these names.
Yeah, I mean,
no
Sutter,
disrespect
Sutter,
to anyone. I apologize if I disrespect the families or anyone listening in. You know, this is not on purpose. Yeah. As much as I study these names, I still can't get them right, and I apologize.
Well, Sutter. I believe it's Sutter.
I think it's Sutter.
Yeah. Well, Sutter. If you don't have Sutter's nice, you put Zach Parise because he's the best, one of the best defensive forwards in the game.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Parise also contributes. He's got 29 goals and 27 assists.
But what I love about this Colorado team, I don't like how young they are, but they are so talented.
They are talented, and you speak about them being young. Some people might say, well, they're inexperienced. Not with this team, especially with Landeskog. I just think their dynamics, even though they're inexperienced, in some sort of form, you know, I still think that this team will pull together, and I have Colorado beating the Wild in 5.
I would go 7 games actually with this.
You go full 7?
You know why? Because Minnesota, let's forget, it's not. It's not
an easy win.
One flaw. It's a fatal flaw with Colorado. Is they're 24th in penalty killing percentage. That's the worst, I believe.
You know, you're right about that one.
They have 24, and Minnesota's got guys that can put the puck in the net.
And the Avalanche kind of struggle with one guy, Cody McLeod. McLeod, I think I'm saying it right. McLeod,
yes,
122 minutes in 71 games. You know, with a guy who's only got 5 goals and 8 assists, even though he's a great player on the left, I wouldn't be too worried, but they also have to watch out.
I think that when it comes to defense, Minnesota has the advantage. I believe that Colorado's got the goalie advantage with Varlamov over. It looks like It looks like Brizgalov is actually going to start for Minnesota.
He's so good.
It looks like, if you don't remember, Ilya Brizgalov, the nut job from Philadelphia, as people called him, actually,
he's
24/7.
He's going to start.
I think he's going to start. He's been playing very well actually for Minnesota. In the last 5 games, I believe he's like 4-0-1.
I mean, he only recorded 679 minutes this year.
He bounced
on the low. Yeah,
he was Edmonton, then he got traded to Minnesota. Josh Harding, he's battling MS obviously, so I think he's done.
We of course our thoughts and
but he is an inspirational guy. He's been playing with this with the disease. I don't know if I'd go with the rookie though, Darcy Kemper. I don't know if I'd go with him. So
I think they should bring back Curry.
Who?
Curry. played 80 minutes.
No, okay, I know what you're talking about, yeah. But no, Colorado, what does scare me is a penalty kill. Like, that being said, though, I mean, they got Tyson Berry as one of the best puck-moving D-men in the league that not a lot of people talk about. I was really impressed with how when he played against the Rangers, Tyson Berry. Mm-hmm. He was the only guy who scored in the shootout. Of course, the defenseman scores against the Rangers.
Yeah, and he put up 64 games, so he's been there. It's not like...
Jan Haidt is a big, solid guy, and I know a lot about Colorado because I play with them in NHL 14, so I do play with them. So
everyone Kevin Bartnett's team is Colorado Avalanche in NHL 14.
Well, he drafted me, so
they drafted him.
No, but with that, I think Colorado in 7 because
I went undrafted for a 7th year in a row.
You did.
I don't know. I'm just joking.
With Colorado though, as bad as their penalty kill is, though, Minnesota, they do got guys that can put the puck in the net individually as a team, though they are ranked 24th in goals. But they did get Matt Molson at the trade deadline, who I think could be a difference maker for them in this series. That's why I think it will go a little longer than.
All right, so I agree. You know what? I may change it. I probably don't have time, but I'm going to keep it at 5 games because you know what? I'm sticking with it.
You're sticking with it.
I'm going to stick with it. We're going to say Colorado Avalanche in 7 with the Minnesota Wild. Even though I agree with you, I probably won't have time to change it. So There goes my bracket. Let's move on to the Blues Blackhawks.
The St. Louis Blues, man, they just can't catch a break. Who they draw in the playoffs, they just can't catch a break.
I'm going to be honest with you. You're gonna be like, what's with all these short matchups? I have the Blues in 5.
Well. See this.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, no, you're not wrong. But the thing is, Kane and Taves, they're the blue blood of the Chicago Blackhawks up front. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be fully healthy. If they know that they're hurt, the St. Louis Blues will not be afraid to go after them.
No, I mean they both have 40 assists each. Kane's got 29, and Taves has 76 games, 28 goals, 29 goals for Kane. But a big player, too, the left winger Patrick Sharp with 34 goals, 44 assists as well. But leading the assists is Duncan Keith, the defenseman, 55 assists.
Who would be my pick to win the Norris Trophy?
I can see that.
The NHL defenseman.
I can see that.
But not only that, Chicago... I'm really on the. I don't know who to pick in this series because this is who I would have picked for my Western Conference Finals.
Right.
If I had to choose.
Right.
I mean, the Colorado just had to be so good this year offensively and as a team.
Yeah.
That's why I think Wild really deserves it. The defending Cup champions. Last year's Blackhawks team is the best team I've seen in about five years.
I agree, but to be honest with you, I think enough is enough for the Blackhawks. I think it's someone else's turn.
You think so?
I think so. But and I think the Blues have really proven themselves this year in different ways. You know, I'm not going to say that they're unstoppable. I mean, every team is at some point. You can argue the Bruins isn't, but the Bruins aren't. But you know, I feel like that the Blues have really put up some numbers. I really like TJ Oshie.
I mean, everyone in America loves TJ.
Yeah, I mean, Alexander Steen with 33 goals.
Alexander Steen, imagine if he didn't miss a month either with the.
That's what I'm saying. He only had 68.
Alex Steen started off the year with 26 goals, then he missed a month and a half. Steen, with the pace he was going out, would have scored 40.
Yeah, and then Pietrangelo with 43 assists. We have a team here, the Blues, where your assists are up in the high 20s, low 30s. That may not be the best, we have people in the 50s. I mean, you look at the Blackhawks, 44, 40, 40, 55, 30, 28. You look at the Blackhawks with assists. However, I really think that enough's enough the Blackhawks to think the Blues are going to come out with the win.
You know what?
It's tough. It's really
this tough. This is the hardest series to pick.
Tough.
Of all the series, the hardest one by far. I also Kevin Shattenkirk also, I knew him growing up, so he's from New Rochelle, New York, so.
Yes, that's correct.
He's from New Rochelle.
That is correct.
I don't know much about this Jaden Schwartz character, but he is 4th in the team in points, and he's a left wing. I don't know much about him, but he seems pretty good. I think that, though, with the Blues, they both got Stanley Cup winning head coaches.
Yes.
In Hitchcock and Quinville. Quinville's now one. The Blackhawks.
What are your? Sorry to just jump around. What is your opinion on Elliott?
Brian Elliott.
Yeah.
I think he could be a number 1 for not the best team. Not really a playoff goalie. I mean, if you remember, they picked him as the number 1 a couple years ago, and he played terrible against the Kings. Last year, Halak was the man. This year, is Ryan Miller a go for the series or?
Is
Ryan Miller a go? I mean, they gave up a lot to get Ryan Miller, so.
I mean, he played close to what Brian Elliott played. I mean, Brian Elliott only played 1,600 minutes, and then Ryan Miller with 1,100. Miller's got a lower percentage in saves, but with the numbers, they might be a go.
I think with what they gave up.
It's so tough.
What they give up to get Ryan Miller. I would go with Miller in this series if I were St. Louis. They gave up a lot to get him. They gave up a good young player in Chris Stewart, a first-round pick. That's why I would go with him. And right. Brian Elliott not proven, kind of going like.
I can agree with that. I'm gonna be honest. It's just all I've heard is Blackhawks, and I was just like, you know what? I think it's the Blues' year to just quiet them.
It's so tough to pick.
It's really tough.
And I love how they got Steve Ott too for the bottom. Steve Ott, one of the best bottom 6 forwards in the NHL.
Yeah.
But I'm going Blackhawks in 7.
Blackhawks in 7.
I'm going Blackhawks in 7.
Hey, but you know what? That's an educated pick. I mean, I'm
sorry. And you say you're starting with all these picks. Some of these matches tough 7 games. I'm going with 7 games with a lot of picks.
I'm going like 5 and 6. There's not really much to say. It's just very tough.
Yes.
It's tough. Let's move on.
Yes. Blackhawks in 7. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go St. Louis in 5. Probably gonna be wrong. I am a horrible bracket picker. A lot of it on hunches, but let's go to the Ducks Stars because I want to leave San Jose Sharks and Kings for last.
You want to leave that one last?
I want to leave that one last.
Okay, this is my first upset pick. I'm picking the Dallas Stars in 6 games.
You see, my friend, Ken Reichman, right?
I do know Ken Reichman.
He has the Stars. He has the Stars beating the Ducks.
And as much as I want.
That is an upset. Pick.
I'll be clear. I'm rooting for Anaheim in this series because I want Teemu Selanne to go out, having a great. Because I love Teemu Selanne. That being said, though, and you can look at stats and everything. I do not trust the team coached by Bruce Boudreau in the playoffs.
You do not.
Bruce Boudreau is one of the worst playoff coaches in the NHL. He has a proven track record of being a terrible coach in the playoffs. He was the 1 seed with Washington. They lost.
Yeah.
They lost in 7 to Montreal that year. He lost. He's been swept when he was the 1 seed by Tampa Bay. Last year they were the 2 seed. Lost to Detroit in 7 games, I believe.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, just to move it along, so we don't take time with round 2 in conference final. I have the Ducks winning the whole thing.
You do?
Yeah.
You have the Ducks winning the whole thing.
Talk about an upset with coaches.
So
I have the Ducks winning the whole thing.
But who do you go with if you're the Ducks? So do you definitely give it to Hiller? Because John Gibson, man, he's been awesome for the Ducks.
He's been awesome. He only played 181 minutes though.
But he's going to be their future goalie. Jonas Hiller will not be on this team for very much longer. John Gibson is the future of that team.
Yeah, and you also got Anderson, too, with 1,500 minutes. I'm not talking about, listen, I'm not going to say, he's only got 100 minutes, don't put him in playoffs. I'm not doing it by minutes. I'm just saying that he's only got 101 minutes. I would go with Gibson, only because of his track, just the way he's been playing. There's also things to say putting Jonas Hiller because he's probably on his way out in the next couple of years. Another tough pick for me when it comes to goalies. I just have a feeling about the Ducks with Getzlaf and Perry and Bonino. Those top 3 players, 2 centers and a right winger. I don't think that it's going to be easy to get past them.
No, honestly, it's not.
I think they're going to be a driving force. I'm not going to say that they're going to carry the team, but I think those 3 players, along with a lot of them are going to produce. I think that it's going to be up to them. I really think it's going to come down to them performing at their top game.
Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not.
No.
But I just think
Stars are fighters.
Something about this Stars team I like, man. Tyler Seguin, man, this kid has a fire lit under him.
I agree. 37 goals and 47 assists. That's phenomenal.
This kid's got a fire lit on him. Jamie Benn is one of the best players in the league no one talks about. And for us America hockey fans, he was the guy who scored the goal for Canada that defeated us in that game. But Alex Goligoski is one of my favorite defensemen in the league.
Right.
Cody Eakin is a star in the making. I think he could be one of the breakout players of this playoffs. And not only that, I like the Stars' stability goaltending. Kari Lehtinen is a really very excellent goaltender.
Yeah.
And Tim Thomas is not a bad backup.
No, not a bad backup at all. But let me explain. I forgot this point, and I shouldn't have. This is one of the points that I have with the Stars versus the Ducks. On the Stars, we have Antoine Russell. Or Roussel. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names. I apologize. No disrespect. He has 209. Let me repeat that. 209 penalty minutes in 81 games. You also have Ryan Garbett. Okay. 75 games with 106 minutes in the penalty box. I think that if the Stars play like they did in regular season with those penalty minutes, the Ducks are going to capitalize on that.
Well, see, this is where I actually kind of respectfully disagree.
Really?
Because the Anaheim Ducks, #1 goal-scoring team in the NHL.
Yeah,
#1.
They are.
How can you be number 22 on the power play then?
I agree.
How could you be number 22 on the power play?
I agree, and I'm going to be honest with you. That's kind of just embarrassing, and I give you that. But if you have so many opportunities, that's when it makes a difference. When you go up against a team where you're only going to get maybe one opportunity a game for a power play, I feel like that's when the Ducks struggle. But if you have this many minutes in a penalty box over 82 games, now granted, 82 games is a long time, 200 minutes, if you think about it, is really not that much. But if they play, it's the playoffs. You play intensely. You kind of sometimes play sloppily. You're going to have penalties much more than you would in a regular season, let's say the beginning of the season. Okay? I think that this will be the death of the Stars, is the penalties. Even though the Ducks are 22nd, I think if they get the opportunities, the Ducks are going to capitalize them eventually.
You believe that?
I believe that.
See, maybe they could. Maybe be like the Boston Bruins were I think the worst power play team last year, and they made it to the Cup. So maybe they could pull this step. But
I just think. Look, I'm not going to say that it's their power play that's going to let them win the series. I just think this is definitely going to be a swaying factor.
Why I just feel like, what I feel with Dallas is Dallas, I believe, is even worse maybe on the power play. Yeah, they're right behind them actually in the power play.
23, right?
They're 23rd, Dallas.
Yeah.
But what just kind of blows my mind is I think from a matchup standpoint, if you remember the Ottawa Senators and the Rangers matchup, 2 years ago, this is what this kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of this because
I can agree with that.
What this Anaheim team has on defense is puck-moving defensemen. They're not in-your-face defensemen, really. Fowler is an offensive defenseman. Like, that's his game.
Right.
Hampus Lindholm, I don't know much about him, but he's got an excellent plus-minus of +29. Other than that, man, I mean, Francois Beauchemin, I thought he was always kind of overrated, Beauchemin, so I don't really see these guys if they could shut down that Sagan and Ben line. I just don't know about that.
I'm not saying completely shut down. I just think that with that kind of minutes, with that kind of stat, if that continues on and let's say the Dallas Stars trip up enough, I really think that the Ducks are going to be like, you know what? They're playing, let's say they play sloppy. They're playing sloppy. They're making mistakes. I know, they can say, oh, we're 22nd. They can have that mindset. I think that it's going to bite them, the Stars. I think that's what's going to help the Ducks come out with a win in the series. I'm not going to say it's a deciding factor. I just think it's definitely going to put it in their favor.
I definitely see all the points. Yes,
I know you disagree with me. I mean, there's no way I'm going to sway you.
Yeah, but I think a Lindy Ruff coach team is like a bad matchup for a Bruce Boudreau coach team, who's one of the worst playoff coaches. His systems do not work in the playoffs. I feel. Of course, every time I say that about a coach always goes on a run. So you know me. But just before we move on to the Kings Sharks. Before we move on to that series, I also think Stars have the goaltending advantage. I would take Lettinen over Hiller.
I agree with that.
I would take Lettinen over Hiller.
I definitely agree with that 100%.
And I feel that even though Anaheim is not that good in power play as Dallas, I think Lettinen is good enough though where he could still make them be bad, be not that successful on the power play.
I agree.
For a team that has the personnel, like with the great offensive defenseman Fowler, the size and the skill, and Getzlaf and Perry, I don't think you should be 22nd on the power play.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that point. Again, the feeling and the way I feel like these games are played in playoffs thing, I think that the Stars need to be careful. I don't think that the Ducks should be taken lightly, and I think with these kind of penalty minutes, the Ducks might capitalize because it's the playoffs. At this point, it doesn't matter if you're 22nd in the power play. You're in the playoffs.
You're right.
That's it.
They are the number 1 goal team in the league, though.
Right.
So we'll see how 5-on-5 is where the big.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deciding factor too.
Right. So I got Stars in 6. You got Ducks in
6.
6. Okay.
So it's pretty even with the games.
So St. Louis and
San Jose.
San Jose, excuse me, and Los Angeles. Oh.
This makes me laugh.
I have LA. I'm not gonna say how many games I have them in, but what do you have?
I have the Sharks in 7.
I have the LA in 5.
Really?
I have LA in 5.
I don't know, man.
I just think, I mean, the Kings and the Rangers are actually, if you didn't know this, the Kings and the Rangers are actually the only 2 teams in the playoffs the last 2 years that have won a series. Have won a series in the last 2 playoffs.
Okay.
Only 2. You would have figured
I didn't know that stat.
Only 2 teams. I figured there would have been a little more than that, actually. Right. But I think the LA Kings are been there. I mean, won the Stanley Cup. They made it to the West Finals last year. They just ran into a better Blackhawks team. I just think they have, there's the familiarity with them.
Yeah. I agree.
The familiarity they have with each other.
I mean, Kopitar with 29 goals and 41 assists with the Kings.
He's one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah.
No one talks about either. He's an amazing defensive forward as well.
Yeah.
Defense, I think, is where LA, and goaltending where LA reigns supreme. Goal scoring has never been their thing. 26th in the league in goals per this year.
Right.
That being said, what I just said, defense, where they are numero uno.
Yeah. But now here's the other thing. I think, and I think I was speaking to you about this previously. I think Quick is losing his edge just a bit.
You did say that, and I want to hear why you think that.
Just by his numbers. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've been following the Kings, because I haven't. But if you look at his stats, he's got 2,000 minutes, a little under 3,000 minutes, with 27 wins, 17 losses, 4 overtimes, 6 shootouts. He's got a .915 save percentage. Okay. Now you go to the Sharks. Numbers-wise, the Sharks, with their goalie, Niemi, okay, has over 3,000 minutes, 39 wins, 17 losses, 7 OTs, shootouts of 4, with a .913 save percentage. Now, the Sharks could not get past the LA Kings in the past.
No.
Quick shut them down. I think that this is revenge for the Sharks.
Revenge. So
I think
like
it's some
intangibles.
I like exactly. I think with this matchup, especially with Pavelski. I can't speak. I am so sorry, everyone.
Who became like one of my favorite players after the Olympics, especially.
41 goals. Okay, 41 goals, and then you have Joe Thornton with 65 assists.
Yeah, and I thought he was losing his edge actually this
65 assists.
I thought he was losing his game this year.
I expected better numbers from Quick because I know how Quick is, and this is the first time I'm looking at Quick's numbers. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought that his numbers are going to be better than this.
He had a 207 goals against. I mean, how much more can he ask? I mean,
I understand that, but I still thought with the year he had last year and previous years, not even just last year, I think he would have better numbers. He would be more consistent. I just think he's losing it just a tad, and I think the Sharks are going to take advantage, especially for Pavelski and Thornton.
Where I think that Quick, I would be worried about Quick, is maybe because he did play in the Olympics, so he does have those extra games under his belt.
That's true, but
with that though, the San Jose Sharks, they are just never get it done. They never get it done.
That's true. Joe Archino from the Sports Vault, he's a big San Jose Sharks fan. He says that the Sharks they always just come out choking. I'm sorry to use that kind of term, but they kind of choke at times.
Consistently, they're one of the best teams in hockey every single year.
Right.
Never get it done in the playoffs.
Never get it done in the playoffs. I think against this LA Kings team, I do respect Quick, and I think Quick is an awesome goalie. I think he's probably one of the best in the league.
I think I would still put him at 3. I would put him, Lundqvist, and Rask in my top 3.
I completely agree. I just think with the Sharks coming off couldn't even get past Quick. They just couldn't. I think that this is their time to be like, okay, we're back. We have a goal scorer with 41 goals in 82 games. We have a high assists of 65 assists. I think it's going to give them that push, especially with Pavelski with an 18.2 shot percentage. You're going to disagree with me. You disagree with me all night, and that's fine.
No, I mean we agreed on all the Eastern with the West.
Yeah, the West is a little shaky for us.
See, with the Kings, their forte is not scoring.
No, it's not.
That being
their defense is amazing, though. I'm not gonna bash them. I just think the Sharks are just gonna come off the constant just embarrassment of losing to Quick. I think it's just going to really just drive them.
What I was going to jump on, though, was I think our boy Marion Gabrick is going to be an X factor in this series for the LA Kings.
We can't forget Gabrick,
Marion Gabrick is going to be an X factor. I think he is going to provide secondary scoring for LA, and I don't think that. I mean, I love LA's defense. See, I talked about. Anaheim. See, Anaheim doesn't have the same defense. LA's got a much better defense than Anaheim.
Yes.
Anaheim has a much far and away better. LA has a far and away better defense.
Yep.
LA's got the guys that can shut these guys down. Besides Vlasic and Dan Boyle, I don't really like San Jose's defense. They moved Brent Burns up to play forward, right wing and forward.
Yeah.
Make him a big guy in front of net, and it's benefited them greatly on the offense.
I completely agree with you. It's one of those, again, the West has been a bunch of hunches for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you like I know the West. Okay, I have the numbers in front of me with the West. I have the paperwork. I have, on paper, I can tell you who's a better team top to bottom. I just think the Sharks are going to pull it off.
You think so?
I think so.
You want to just look
in
at
7. I'm not going to. I think they're going to use the whole series for it too. I think it's going to be back and forth.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And to go on to my round 2 picks, because I don't want to stick too long on, because we're kind of like running over time here. I have the St. Louis Blues beating the Colorado Avalanche going to the conference finals. I got the Ducks beating the Sharks in the round 2, so it'll be Ducks Blues. I have the Ducks making it to the Cup against the Bruins, and I have the Ducks beating the Bruins.
I've got Chicago over Colorado in the second round.
Yeah.
And I have. And then I would have LA over Dallas. So I would have the same conference finals as last year.
Right.
And I'm picking it to be the Stanley Cup again. Same Stanley Cup again this year.
You think so?
Only this time I think we're going to pull a Pittsburgh and Detroit. And I think this time this is the year the Boston Bruins win the Stanley Cup. I think Boston, just from top to bottom, yes, they're the President's Trophies winners. They've got everything you want in a team, though. Yeah. They've got everything you want. And they're the one East team that knows Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I love doing a bracket is like me and you going at it. We have totally different brackets. I don't disagree with anything you said. I agree on every single point.
I don't disagree with anything you say either.
And this is the toughness, and this is the essence of the NHL. It's so unpredictable.
Once
you can look at the stats all you want. I did so much show prep for this show. I can tell you how many goals the guy scored, how many games. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, watch. It's going to be Flyers, Columbus, and Tampa Bay Red Wings. So it just
why I love hockey so much though is because once it's the playoffs, it don't matter what the seeds are. And the LA Kings show that the seedings
doesn't matter about the stats either.
Seedings do not matter. It's just matchups, and matchups.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think that this is going to be a perfect test for these teams, and I think that all 16 of these teams are well deserving of their spots, and that's why I think these are going to be a great playoffs.
Yes, I'm looking forward to see how the new format works out as well.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm really looking forward to the new format.
I am too.
I like how they made the schedule so that you could see at least every team at least twice a year.
Right.
I did like that a lot. So
yeah.
Props to at least them trying. Unlike some other sports. So. Well, that's for the BC report with Kevin Bartnett. This is Pete Consadori. You have heard our picks. We'll see the NHL playoffs start tomorrow night.
Yep.
This is going to be incredibly exciting. So thank you all for tuning in. You will have a great and hopefully dry evening.
Yeah. Have a great night, guys.
Yes, have a dry evening. Thank you all for tuning in. Great job.